Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So welcome back in week 11 of Business International. At this session, we will be talking about export-import management. So we'll be looking at how to manage the import and the export activities as a strategy in entering new foreign market. All right. So let's get started. Last session, we learned about how to analyze the new market, the foreign market, before we enter it. And we have a few indicators in analyzing the market. First is the market potential, which is about how potential is the market, how big will the growth be, and how is the customer respond to the foreign products and everything. So the market potential. Next, after analyzing the market potential, we need to analyze the level of competition. So in level of competition, we need to know about how many competitors in the new market, or how big is the competitors, and which competitors are degrading. So we will know which company will be our biggest threat, or which company will be our weakest threat. That's about the level of competition. And next, it's about law and politics, because we need to know what are the laws that are ruled by the government in the new market. We need to know the politics situation. Are they related with the existing competitors or not, or something like that. And after understanding about the law and the politics and the new market, lastly, we need to know about the socio-cultural effect. So we need to know the local or domestic customer preference or perspective about new products, and what are the trends about the product in that particular industry that we are going to enter. So this is about the socio-cultural effect. And these four are the four indicators in analyzing the new market. And we also looked at 6 foreign market entry strategy. The first that is very common is about the exporting, which we will be looking at more detail in this session. And then we have licensing, and then we have franchising. We know that these two are similar, but the difference is more in the cost of the strategy and the effectiveness of the strategy with the sale of our company. So those are licensing and franchising. Next, we have joint venture and merge and acquisition. These two, at some point confused the students about the difference, but they are really different in terms of the control and the market scope that these two strategies can provide. And then the last one is about foreign direct investment, where foreign investor comes to the country and give their money to the existing companies in order to gain, could be knowledge about the market, could be the market capital, or something like that. This is the foreign direct investment. So in this session, as I said before, we'll be looking at in more detail about export and import. So particularly we'll be looking at 2 things. The first is we'll be looking at the 2 types of exporting. So there are 2 types of exporting. Well, there are 3 actually, but mostly we'll be talking about these 2 types first. And then we'll be looking at export-import management, particularly about the process in exporting, what happened in the export-import situation. And after that, we'll be looking at the documentation in export-import. What are the documents needed in export activities? And lastly, we will be looking at the payment methods. So there are many payment methods, but we will be looking at some of the common payment methods in exporting. Alright, first we will be looking at the exporting. As we have talked in the last session, exporting is one of the strategy in entering a new market where we as a company sell or distribute our products or services to the customers in other countries apart from our countries or our home countries or the countries where the products is manufactured. So we sell to another countries. The advantages of this are it's low cost, it has a very high efficiency, and we sometimes have very good government policies like tax discount or special law. And for the disadvantages, it's more in the regulation change because sometimes the local or the foreign government change the regulation suddenly, and we as a company there sometimes can only react in a slow manner because we are running our business here. And then we have the high transportation cost and long lead time because sometimes when we send our goods we need to pay more, and sometimes the time to make our product arrive at some specific countries are very long as well. And also the disadvantage is tariff barriers because we will need to pay tariff barriers when we enter a new market. So let's look at the process in export import. So the process in export and import is actually about the exchange of goods, documents and money during the process. So let's say here we in Indonesia are the exporters, and well, some business in US try to order or try to purchase our product. So they are called importers and we are called exporters. So first, we as the exporters will send our goods through shipment, could be, or through planes or maybe cargo if the country is reachable by cars or trucks. And then we also need to send the documentation. So some of the documents are needed in order for the importers when they want to take their goods. They need to have some documents for the authorization or the invoice and something like that. And when the importers have the goods already, they will send us the money, the cash. So this is the simple process in export import. However, there are many complexity in here, and we'll be looking at each of these process step by step. So first, we will be looking at the two types of exporting. So there are two types of exporting. The first type is indirect export. What is indirect exporting? The indirect exporting is when we, for example, in here is company A, and then we want to sell our product to the company C, which is located in other countries, but we use the service of company B to sell our product to them. So this company B is also called intermediaries. So they act as the middleman in selling our products to the other countries. In Indonesia, we have a very good example of Shopee. We know Shopee is an e-commerce, very powerful e-commerce in Indonesia as well. One of the most popular e-commerce in Indonesia. They have a program called Shopee Export, where the clients or the users of this Shopee app can actually use the help of Shopee to sell their products to another countries. And there are many benefits for Indonesian or user of this app to use the program of Shopee Export, because they are free and it's easier to local company in Indonesia to really focus on their products and just let the Shopee to sell their product to many other countries. And this is direct exporting. So we ask the help of other company that is still in the same country with us to sell our products to another company that is located in another country. This is indirect exporting. So we don't do the export, another company do the export for our product. Next, it's about the direct exporting. What is direct exporting? It's actually we try to sell directly our product to another company that is located in other country. The very good example of this, as we have already known, is Mayora. Mayora in Indonesia sells their Kopiko and Torabika to Korea and many other countries around the world directly to the retailers, to the big companies in other countries apart from Indonesia. And they don't build the manufacturers. They manufacture the candies and the coffee in Indonesia, and then they sell it directly to other countries. So these are the two types of exporting. There are a few advantages of this type of exporting, and we'll be looking at them right now. So the advantage of indirect exporting is that it is free from risk. What does it mean, free from risks? It means that we, as a company, doesn't have to worry about payment issues from the other countries, for example, because we are not the one who is doing the export activities. It's the other company that is using the export activities. For example, in Indonesia, it's Shopee that is doing the export activities. So any risks about the export, whether it is about the payment or the shipping of the goods, it all relies on the Shopee. That's the free from risk. And no financial burden because the export payment, the packing, then the shipping, it's all taken by the company that is doing the exporting. For example, in this example is Shopee. So Shopee will pay all the shipping. Shopee will look after all of the financial burden because they are the one who is doing the exporting. And also, there's no need for us to do the market research to the other countries. We can just simply focus on our production because all the marketing, all the market research will be done by the intermediaries. In this case, it's Shopee, for example. And then about the direct exporting. In direct exporting, the advantage is that we have the direct exporting helps us to have better knowledge of the market. It means that we can really understand the market that we are selling. We can really know, okay, this maybe this type of citizen in this specific country they don't really like coffee, for example. Let's try to arrange our product. Let's try to innovate so that our product can be accepted in this specific country. It's something like that. So we have better knowledge of the market, and because we have better knowledge of the market, we can have better expertise in the marketing as well, because we know what the potential customers want. And also we will have a full control of the products because we know how many products will we sell. Is this amount is enough, or is this amount is not enough? So we have control of how many products will we sell. And the last one is effective after sales service, because at some industry there are some after sales service. For example, like in technology service, in Apple, for example, when we sell our phone, when we buy Apple phone, we may need some guidance from the customer service, and by selling our product directly, we can give this customer service experience better because we are the one who sell the product. We are the one who knows the product better. So you have effective after-sales service. Okay, so those are the two types of the exporting. After this, we will be looking at some of the process about the export imports, particularly about the documentation and the payment. So the next slides we'll be talking about the documentation and the payments.